We keep things rolling here on the Sports Cubicle. He's Paul Chivari. I'm Mike Mercado, and I wanted to hit this really fast. Bobby Knight, Hall of Fame coach, and all around, I'll go ahead and say it, bad dude, passes away. Complicated life is what a lot of people will say. But I think, and I've learned this because we grew up in the greatest city in the world in Chicago, IL, and we have some of the greatest broadcasters and journalists. You talk about somebody the way you did on life, you do on death. And I think it's okay for certain players to have certain opinions and like Coach Knight. I think it's okay to acknowledge how great of a coach he was. I also think it's also important to talk about the flaws of a person. Do you have to kick a person when they're down, when they died? Do you have to be like that? No. But you have to be honest about this conversation. And too many times over the last week since his passing, I've seen too many people try to ignore the entire story of Bobby Knight. And I think here on the Sports Cubicle, the only thing that we want to address is obviously we want to give condolences to his family, his friends, and anybody he's made a positive impact on their life. A human life did leave this plane of existence. But we will not ignore somebody's complete story. Whether it's telling an announcer, comparing something to rape, to putting your hands on a player, but we are not going to BS you here. I'm not going to BS what I've thought of the guy. Hell, would I have loved to have seen Bobby Knight take the U of I Fighting Illini to a national championship? Sure. Do I wish that Hoosier Nation would hit Chicago the way it does that we care about collegiate sports? Sure. But I've also seen coaches who aren't bags win. Mm-hmm. How many NBA All-Stars has Bobby Knight coached? One.
Just
One.
Isaiah?
So there's a lot that goes around this. Mike Krzyzewski was a bag, but he kind of eased up towards the end of his run. Kind of a little bit more approachable. There are ways to do this. And I'm going to throw it to you,
He was never on the level of Bob Knight, though.
And
even though that was the guy that he played under at Army.
No, for sure. And it's the Bill Belichick effect. People take the wrong lessons from these coaches. Bobby Knight was not a great coach because he threw chairs on the court. He was a great coach because he knew how to develop talent on the collegiate level, how to run plays, how to get the best out of his players. Same thing with Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick isn't a great head coach because he went on the stand and was like, we're on to Houston. We're on to Houston.
Or because he videotaped practices or encouraged his quarterback to deflate footballs.
He got the best and he found every way to win.
Yeah.
That's what, and too many people emulate the wrong thing. And Bobby Knight's a great example that too many coaches of that upbringing followed the wrong things from that person.
Yeah, he's the last coach to coach an undefeated team in a season. He had, I think, 3 national championships in his run. Great X's and O's basketball coach. Indiana's a hotbed for basketball. He kind of embodies that sort of culture and lifestyle.
Brought basketball to Texas Tech.
Yeah, but I also think about Larry Bird almost played for him, but then backed out at the last second.
Why?
Yeah, and I want to know why. There
Why?
must have been something abrasive about Bob Knight's personality that forced Larry Bird to go to a smaller school,
Indiana State, and create this legacy with him and Magic all these years later, right? Mm-hmm. And now here's the thing: Michael Jordan had the biggest backing from Bob Knight. He used to give, but I never see Michael Jordan prop up Bobby Knight.
So apparently there's a story that Bob Knight made Michael Jordan cry during the '84 Olympics, and it wasn't because Jordan was actually playing bad. It was to motivate him to play better in the next game.
And it makes you just wonder, do you have to be that way in coaching? But also, I have played with players to get the best out of themselves from that type of coaching. But you cross a line the minute you put your hands on somebody, and that's what was videotaped. That was what did we not see behind closed doors when gym doors were closed?
All these people that are defending Bob Knight for the way he coached and saying that, players are too soft nowadays to deal with coaching like that. Next time you come home from work and you talk to your spouse and you complain about your boss because your boss dressed you down at work, you remember your hero, Bob Knight.